is the first of our MD Solutions Optimax training series, and in this session we're going to do new feature review, and we're going to cover explicitly WebLink, Cloud Explorer, and AR history. Now, WebLink and Cloud Explorer has been with us for a number of months, but I do believe that it's not being utilized because if you're not familiar with the operation and use of WebLink or Cloud Explorer, you will have difficulty using either one of those. Hosted applications are great, but in reality, those applications are best described as residing on an island. You have Optimax on one island, and your computer is, in essence, on another island. When you attempt to share files between these islands, by design, the browser in the cloud must discover the contents on your island and make them visible to the Optimax island. This becomes very cumbersome when attempting to move documents up to the Optimax island. There's no way to overcome that process via your default browser. When you attempt to move around on your system or your particular island, your system, it has to rediscover. Optimax is an excellent document management system, as you can attach files just about anywhere in the Optimax system, but doing so can take a high level of patience. Jessica, next page, please. So just for illustration, I'd like to show where there's key areas within Optimax you can put attachments. You can put attachments on the patient, which you can see here. And these are all documents that you see here that are attached to the patient. Or you can attach it to the billing. But that makes it very, very difficult with the way that the browser feature works within a cloud application. So Optimax has developed two features specifically to resolve the discover limitation issue that you have in the browsers. These features were added in an attempt to keep you on the Optimax island when you wish to attach documents to an object in Optimax. These new features are File Explorer and Cloud Explorer. Jessica, let's go to Optimax. These new features can be found in your billing main menu, and it will be below tasks. You have Cloud Explorer and you have WebLink. Let's discuss WebLink first and what it is designed for, and then we'll go over to Cloud Explorer. In WebLink, this is set up as billers. You live in a world currently where you have to access many applications that are in the cloud as well. And currently, I would bet that most of you are browsing to your desktop, going up to your Chrome or Internet Explorer, and then going to the website you need to visit. Well, Optimax is attempting to keep you within the island of Optimax, if you will. And this new option allows you to go to many of the websites that you would have to visit in a day's period doing your work. So it's really easy to go to the Availity website from within Optimax. And trying to drag that onto our screen. Jessica, if you can help me there. So just by double-clicking on the cloud, Cloud or WebLink, it'll bring you to the Availity website, and then all you have to do is log in. And you're right there in the application that you need to be in to grab files, download files, upload files, whatever you need to do. They're right there. I'm going to close out, and I'm going to go into eBridge, which is MD Solutions document management program. I'm going to go ahead and before I log in, one of the things that makes this feature very useful, if you take the time to do it, is setting up your Cloud Explorer, which you've launched Chrome, Google Chrome within Optimax. So you're in the cloud version of Google Chrome. To make this feature very useful, what you need to do is you need to set up so that when you download files from your web links, they download to Optimax O Drive rather than your local workstation. So what you need to do to make this useful is you go to the little ellipsis icon there in the upper right-hand corner, and you go to Settings. And in Settings, if you roll all the way down to Advanced Settings, there is an option. I always pass it. I've probably already passed it. Downloads. So what you need to do is to set your Google to download to your O Drive. And notice that the very first thing that's going to happen when you get this is you get this warning and restriction. Nothing we can do about it, because when you open this up, it's trying to access the C drive in Optimax, and it's restricted. So just simply say OK, and it'll take you to your system. And what you'll do is if you click on the Optimax Cloud and you say select folder, so now your download location in the Google Cloud on Optimax is set to download to your O Drive. This will make it much easier for you to access documents within Optimax while working on using this web link feature. So we're done there, and all I have to do is to close that. So if I do this one more time, I'm going to go back into our default, and I'm going to log into our document management system. If anybody wants to know the intricacies and usability of eBridge, we can talk offline about this. This is a very secure site, so you're not going to say remember. But now I'm within our document management system, and I'm going to go to Medical Data Solutions. And here are all the files that we have sitting in our document management system. Now, all I have to do, whatever download function you have within your particular website, I just go to that download, and I've just downloaded this file to my O Drive in Optimax. And we'll show how that works here shortly. But it's real easy to set up these for you. If you are a billing service and you have many default locations that you want to go, if you set up one particular practice, because this is loaded by practice within Optimax, if you set one up, we can copy those links over to the other practices that you may have in your billing service. So it's real easy to set up. You can either do a right click and do new, and all you do is paste your web address in that field, and then you type out the name of that, and you have your new link within Optimax. So for those people that have to browse around the internet while in Optimax, getting to web link within the billing main menu will get you there very easily. And then by setting up within the cloud the download location, that will wind up in your O drive within Optimax. I would suspect that some of those that are using this feature is not aware of that you can set the download location in the cloud. And I think that's going to save you a lot of time. So that's web link in review. Let's go into Cloud Explorer. And Cloud Explorer, for those that have not worked with Cloud Explorer or saved settings or set it up, will find it rather clunky and very unusable. Most of you noticed that have tried to use Cloud Explorer have probably found in the past that when they open it up, it seems to freeze on your system, and you get that little maddening circle going around and around, that blue circle. That's what it's doing to discover your drive. If you noticed on this time when we came in, this was grayed out, but there was no gray circle or blue circle that was going on. And it was grayed out until it had read the drive. And there's a secret to that and how it works. Let's do a quick review of what we have in Cloud Explorer. On this side of the window, this is your system. So this is the files that you have within your particular desktop, and it reads that, and that's why it is sitting there taking so long to circle. On the right side of the screen, that's the O drive. So you can see up here that this is the O drive up in the cloud. Some of you may have learned or have not learned yet, but you can set up your O drive the way you wish to. So if you have multiple practices that you have up within your billing service or practice, you can set them up in here. So you can set up practice A, practice B, or if you have folks that you want to set up individual users to have their own folder, they can do that. And that's very, very easy just by clicking on the New button. And now I have a folder up here. So I've created the folder up on the O drive. That new functionality also works over here. So if we were to click New Folder, I could create a folder on my computer. And that will then, if you were to exit and log in or get onto your desktop, you would find out in File Explorer that you have a new folder. So this works and functions very similar to how your File Explorer works within Windows. There are some other functionality here. If you come over on this side, and it works also on this side as well, but you can change how this displays on the O drive. I prefer small or I prefer list. That is my preference, but it's your choice. Also know and note over here that you have checkboxes. If you would like to see the file name extensions, those are very helpful to have. So you can do the file name extension and you'll get the extension over here. And it also works over on this side as well. There's also a item checkbox in here. So when you click that item checkbox, it does create a checkbox for you. So that's kind of handy if you want to clean this drive up. And you could go here. Let's see, we'll take this one, this one, this one, and we'll check those. And we'll clean up the O drive. We just deleted what was in our O drive. Functionality, the Windows Microsoft functionality also works within Cloud Explorer. Similar to Microsoft tooltips, I can put or hold down my control button on my keyboard, and I can click on multiple items, and I can delete. There is a refresh button on the Cloud Explorer on your O drive as well as on your computer. And so if you have a file change on your computer, you can hit refresh. But it's especially helpful here because at times when you're downloading off of the using a web link and you download, when you come over here, the system may not have refreshed yet. So it helps to hit refresh, and this is the file that we downloaded from our document management system. Now, unfortunately, in our document management system, it doesn't allow us to set the file name, so we're kind of limited there, but that is the file that we just downloaded off of our eBridge system. The benefit is that when you go to attribute documents within Optimax, there is no lag time waiting to bring documents up from your computer on this side over to here. So very helpful to set up your default download in WebLink to set it up to go into your O drive. Now, if you're a particular person deals strictly in practice A, in the default setting for download in Chrome, you would set it to go to practice A. You wouldn't want it to go into the root of O. If you want to put it in Mark's folder, again, you can set Mark's folder as the default within Chrome. So just a handy tip there on how to set up Chrome on that. Now, do note that there are two load balancing servers that handle Optimax. One day you could download or, access Optimax, and you'll be on one server, and the next day you'll be on another server, depending on time of day and particular load that's going on. So you do have to know that once you set up on one server your default location, you may the next day have to go look and set up the default on the other server. But once you do the default saving of the download location on both servers, you're set. It will always remember what your link is. So that's a tour of what we have on the O drive. Here's what we have on our side. And we have set, if I close out Cloud Explorer and I say, you're going to say yes, because what you just did is you saved the settings here, and you notice I didn't lock up with that circular wait time. It is reading the difference between the last time I logged off or closed out of Cloud Explorer versus now. So we could conceivably come in and then jump right back to work and go to a patient file. You can go do a receipt. You could do whatever you want to do while Cloud Explorer is refreshing. So here's what we have to do to refresh. Now, we are in a particular practice right now. We are in our demo practice. You can see down here, we're in our demo practice. Let's just say that this demo practice has its own folder on your system. So when I click on the demo folder, it's doing that. It's kind of hung up here. It looks like it's not doing anything, but it is reading my demo folder. All right, as the system cavitates around on that. So this folder, if I go up to my Save button, if you'll notice up here, my Save button needs to be saved. So if I hit Save, what I've just done is on my computer or my network for this practice, for this demo practice, I have told Cloud Explorer that this is the folder I want to be in when I come in to that practice. So what that means is if you have multiple databases, what you need to do to set up Cloud Explorer properly is go to that database, you change the database, and then you go through the pane one time and you browse to that folder on your computer or network, and then you're going to come up and you're going to hit Save. You have just told Optimax that my default folder for that practice is here. So now if I close out of Cloud Explorer and I go back into Cloud Explorer, it's refreshing in the background. And look where it brought us. It brought us right back to demo folder. So as far as Optimax is concerned, for this practice, current practice down here, this is my default folder. So if you have multiple documents that are growing within that practice folder on your network, then the work tip here is you come in here, and there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can click on Select All. So if you've got 10 new files sitting in that folder, you just highlight them all by selecting all, or you can do Control A, or if there's certain files that you want to select, you can hold the Control button down and you can go through and click on those. What you do is you hit Copy, and then I'm going to go to my folder, and I'm going to hit Paste. And it will move that document up to your O drive on the paste function. So on my folder, on the O drive in the cloud, that document now exists. So really important for workflow purposes, if you have multiple documents that are brand new, do it all at once. Move them up, get them over to your folder on the cloud, and then go about to what you want to do within Optimax. So again, I'm going to demonstrate this. You want to save change, and what it's doing is it now reads that document in there. So the next time I come in, the refresh time is going to be quicker. So you saw it refresh much faster by doing that. So every time that you log out and it asks you to save, we suggest you hit Save. So important workflow tip there to improve productivity. Well, we have some other icons here within Cloud Explorer, and if I go to this, create a new task and attach the selected items. So if you're doing tasks and you want to quickly attach documents, we do have a practice that is on this webinar that use tasks extensively. And this is a quick way to create tasks. You can do it from here, or it's the same here. If I highlight this and then I go hit create new task, if we look, that will automatically attach. It will automatically attach in attachments that document. So that is a very cool feature. You can attach pictures. So this is a quick way. High Point is on, and they move pictures back and forth within Optimax, as well as Rocky Mountain MS. This is a quick way to do that by having your document or picture here, and then just clicking, and I can create my new patient here within this window. And when you're done and you hit save, that will automatically be in, well, that picture will automatically be here because that's the target. I can add this document to an existing task. So if I click on this, I can add it to an existing task, or I can add that picture to an existing, or excuse me, it's an attachment to an existing. This would apply it. This would apply it for the photo. So there's some pretty sharp functionality that has been built into Cloud Explorer to help you create new patients, documents, etc. And over time, Optimax is going to be adding additional functionality on top of what you see here in these icons. And we'll announce that when that occurs. Now, I do want to point out, because somebody has OneDrive, and that is a question, and yes, you can go to OneDrive and log in and do it that way as well. I know this question will come up. I haven't seen it yet showing up, but there is it is a security limitation within Cloud Explorer and browsing. People have asked, can I preview a document from this Cloud Explorer? And the answer is no, and that is a functionality restriction because it does not read extensions as far as application-wise. And if you can envision that, you could potentially move a virus directly to Optimax if you tried to preview a file that was sitting over here. It could automatically launch a virus into the Optimax cloud structure. So that is the security setting, and that's why you cannot do a preview function within Cloud Explorer. So I just wanted to point that out. So hopefully what we've discussed here is very helpful in your endeavor to attach documents throughout Optimax. I do believe if you play with this, you take the time to save this to your system, to each particular practice. I think you'll find this much more user-friendly, if that's a good word, which it's not. Okay. So that is Cloud Explorer and WebLink. And I hope that was useful for you folks. I now want to talk about another feature that was actually added about, it was about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I believe, that it was brought into the system. And first, Jessica, thanks for queuing that up. I'll get this ready, but I want to go to I want to go to forms and reports. Now, I was a little surprised that I haven't had much buzz from our customers on the AR history functionality. It is very ironic that in one day we had 2 very large practices request this feature. And so we thought that it was a very useful new feature. And it was put into Optimax within 2 weeks. So it took Optimax 2 weeks to develop this and put this new feature in. So the key point there is, if there's a feature that will benefit multiple clients, Optimax will look at it. Not very many software companies will do that. But let's go into AR history. And within AR history, this is a 12-month rolling date. And so on May 1, the system is going to do calculations just after midnight, and then you will have 5/1/2019 to 5/1/2020. So this date is always rolling by the month, and it updates just after midnight on the 1st of every month. This is a very heavy calculation that Optimax runs, and it will run for every practice that is up and on the Optimax system. And here's what it's calculating: days in AR, daily average charge, current balances as of that date, and then it breaks it down by primary, secondary, guarantor balances, and then it breaks down your aging over here. So for this particular demo database, LH demo, these are the stats for this particular practice. And this is by practice, so it is for this demo database only. And you do need to note that our details are somewhat truncated on secondary and guarantor, on 3/1, 2/1, so on. The calculation to create that history was so large and across the board that Optimax made the decision that they would only run those calculations from 4/1 and on. So on 5/1, you're going to see all of this data spelled out. You can also go in here and you can read the detail within the screens. So there is a lot of data being gathered for you. And the reason they're able to do this is we get a lot of requests to read AR over time. Well, that's problematic because AR changes by the minute as you're posting payments and adjustments. And it is extremely difficult going back in time because where does that AR sit? Is it in primary? Is it in secondary, tertiary, or has it moved to guarantor? The system does not know that when you go back in time to try to get that information. So what they're going to do is they're going to grab that data on the 1st of every month, and this is going to go into the Optimax data tables under AR history. So from here forward, for at least a month, or for a 1-year period, you can go back in time to look. We probably could reset the filter and go back further if we need to, but we do, I think going on a rolling 1-year history is decent enough. So while this data is very useful to look at how your practice is functioning or how successful you are with this particular demo database, this is kind of tough to read. So Optimax has given us another tool within the dashboard of everybody's practice. Now, when this feature came out 2 weeks ago, Bill did go up and load in the dashboard AR history for all of our clients. So everybody should have AR history, and this report resides in the common files within Optimax. So once we load it to one of your practices, it will be loaded for all of your practices. But here is what the AR history dashboard looks like. While data is pretty cool to look at across a grid, you get more information out of reading visuals, and that's what the dashboard is designed to do. As you can see, as I'm moving my cursor along that line, it's giving us the date range that we're at. And if I get all the way over here to April, I can see that the summary here is for April 2020. So this is your trend line. Here is your amount. This is your total amount of AR. Notice that we only have it sitting in primary calculated on these older dates, but on April we have it primary, secondary, and guarantor. If this practice had tertiary responsibility at that time, the tertiary would be in there as well. So this breaks down in a bar graph your area of responsibility and where it sits. These are your total amounts down here. So if I put my filter or my mouse over April, it gives me my totals. And if I come over to here to April, we've got our 30, 60, 90, and 120. So this is a tool that allows you to look at a practice visually and look at how you're trending over time. There's also filters over here. So if I look over here in Who, if I uncheck all, everything goes blank. But if I check primary, the data changes. So the filtering within the dashboard are very functional and easy to figure out. And I can eliminate 120 if I want to. We just have different ways of displaying your data across the system. I'm going to go ahead and select all again, and if I come to the map, this displays in chunks where your aging is. The vast majority, based on this map, shows that the vast majority of our aging right now is in current primary. Now there's a reason for this, because this is a demo database, and the snapshot was taken about 2-3 months ago. So in this particular database, nothing's been worked. So this will tell you quickly within the map of how your overall aging looks. It's just a fast visual way to figure out where your data sits. Now I will point out that this is a dashboard, and that dashboard lives by practice. Everybody has the dashboard, and we can set up very similar reports like this within the dashboard. Now, Jessica, let's real quick, I'm going to roll down to the enterprise dash. I'm not going to go there because this practice doesn't have them. But let's bring up the PowerPoint, if you will. And let's take a look at some reports. And these are sample reports that has been built within one particular practice. And let's go to this one here. And forgive us, but this did come from a practice. I've taken all identifiers out, but those that are in that practice will say, hey, this is us. So what Enterprise Dashboard is a reporting tool that allows us to gather data across all practices that you have within your system. This was designed for billing services, but we do have another practice that's on this that could have these type of reports across multiple business units if they were all in Optimax. So again, the Enterprise Dashboard brings us visually how our AR aging is. So this is an AR analysis across all practices. So it's averaging things out, and it tells us where we have issues. This report has different tabs. So this is the aging, and then we have an AR target, and this particular practice has teams. So the team one is a breakdown of how the team is working, and those teams are responsible for set practices, so those teams are set. And this is what the AR target looks like. So in this particular view, we're using gauges, and you could rapidly see where you have issues when you're in the red. And there is a new feature that has been out right at a year that allows us to set these targets within every practice, and we'll be able to do something very similar for you as well. Again, over on this side, we do have the filters. So if I want to see the effectiveness based off of teams or managers, this here is breaking out by the manager responsible. So I could filter that out and quickly see how my teams or managers are doing. So that's the AR target tab. Let's take a look at the team tab. So this one displays by individual team, and I've taken out the team names down here, but these are the teams that are set up. And in this particular one, we can see that there is, based off of the age of the data that we have, there's an issue here. This particular team is not where the others are. Now, understand that this is older data that this was taken from. So this certainly is not a reflection, but it is a tool that owners, managers can use to look at the overall functionality and effectiveness of their individual managers and teams. So in summary, the Enterprise Dashboard is designed to give us visual reporting tools across all of the practices within your billing service or business. So that's the functionality of the AR history and Enterprise. If you're interested in Enterprise, let us know. The dashboard that we looked at comes with Optimax, and there is no additional fee. So you can develop dashboard reports, and there won't be any additional charge except for whatever time we have in it in developing that dashboard for you. The Enterprise Dashboard is an add-on feature, and I would have to quote based off of your circumstances. So, in closing, we have covered the Cloud Explorer, as well as the web link, as well as the AR history.